What is up, my Bodyweight Warriors? Welcome back to another video, another episode of Bodyweight Basics, episode 9 now. It is a Monday, which means it is International One-Arm Handstand Day. I've just been packing up some orders, but I've also got my pre-workout meal. This is just kind of lunch. It's got some chicken soup with some kale and a can of sardines chucked in, as well as some olive oil. And then for those who were asking about calories, I'll just whack up like a macros thing of what roughly this is now. But that is lunch, and we're gonna train in about an hour. In terms of training, today we're going to be training at the gym again. The main reason for this is the weather currently in the UK is absolutely Baltic. So it's going to be like -8 in the next few days, which I know I have people who watch in Canada and like Sweden and Norway, and they're like, ha, -8, winter, where's the snow? It's cold for the UK. Especially when you're trying to do any form of bodyweight training or handstands or something where you need your hands and you can't feel them, it's not really the best of things. Jumping straight into the session, we are starting with handstand work. It is the most neurologically taxing element of this routine, so it's the most important to do first. I've basically been working a lot of head in position holds lately, specifically focused on the tuck. As you can see here, it's definitely a little bit weak and it needs a little bit more focus. Head in position is great for making sure you open up those shoulders in the handstand, and then when you combine that with the tuck, which is a great move for forcing you to open up your shoulders as well as build up strength in that shoulder flexion position. It's just a really powerful tool. I've been using this a lot. I really enjoy it, and it's a great test of your handstand control. I can't actually share with you the full details of this routine because I am paying for coaching when it comes to the one-arm handstand, so it's not my material to give away as it usually is. However, I will just show you the highlights of what I've been working on. Most of it is relatively boring. It's this basic kind of weight shifting kind of skills with the side flags, and then also just building up some raw strength in those one-arm positions overhead. Because a lot of people don't realize the one-arm handstand, although it is a balancing move and it takes a lot of skill, it does take a lot of strength to be able to hold your body weight on one arm overhead and control it. So that's what I've been doing lately. I will share more in the future. Onto the main conditioning portion of this exercise, we're starting off with some Z presses. So this is when you are sat on the floor in a pike and you're basically doing a military press. What this does, because you're sat in that pike position, it's going to add some compression because you need to be actively compressed, you need to be engaging your core to hold you in this position, so that's one, that's nice. Also, because you're sat down, you can't compensate with your lower back arching like you would on maybe going heavier on a military press, so you have to really focus on using the correct muscles, that muscle synchronization. And also you get to recruit more of those muscles on the back that are involved with the overhead press, just due to the nature and the biomechanics of the movement. You need to have some relatively good hamstring flexibility for this exercise to make sure you can sit on the floor in a pike. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this as a replacement for like pike push-ups, handstand push-up work. This was paired with some good old basic front lever work, and that is just front lever pulls. Dynamic work tends to be a lot more effective than just pure static work when it comes to skills. So things like these tuck front lever pulls, I'm a big fan of. I'm just doing advanced tuck, focusing on pulling with the back, starting the movement with the scapula, and just getting in quite a lot of volume. I'm doing 8 reps here, which is probably more than I need to be doing. But my front lever is actually feeling pretty strong. I haven't trained this really that much over the past kind of year. I did have full front lever for like 5 or so seconds. I can probably still hold the same in a straddle, but needs to get a bit of work to get back to where we were to begin with. Then an old favorite, the weighted push-up. I just love this exercise. It feels so good to do. It's so good just for building pure pushing strength. I like to use a little bit of an elevation now for my hands so I can use a little bit more range of motion. And also when they're not completely flat on the floor, it takes a bit of pressure off my wrists, which have been taking a beating lately because of the one-arm handstand work. So I've been doing weighted push-ups for reps, and then kind of as soon as I can get things set up, our superset straight into just some elevated diamond push-ups. And again, this is just for reps afterwards, 10 to 15 reps, just to get some, basically more of a burn. So a superset for the triceps and the chest to have a bit more of a mass gain focus as well, because at the moment, that's kind of what I'm playing around with, just for a bit of fun. I haven't had an aesthetic focus for a long time with training. The next superset I was doing was just some pull-ups with a nice controlled negative, the same as the push-ups. And I was just using a neutral grip. I personally find this much more comfortable than kind of a chin-up or a pronated grip. And then just in terms of, for me, kind of protecting elbows in terms of the long run, I find neutral grips works better. Doesn't mean I can't do pronated, it's just I find it's a nicer movement to do. And then I was supersetting that with some reverse flies, and this is focusing mostly on rhomboid and lower trap. It's often muscles that are quite weak or potentially weak in people, and it's weak on me. So I'm just doing some conditioning there, 10 to 15 repetitions. Sometimes using these isolation exercises can be great for targeting those weak spots. Speaking of weak spots, we're looking at some external rotation work. Here I'm using a maximal overcoming isometric. So basically I've got a weight that I cannot actually lift in this kind of Cuban rotation position, but I'm doing maximum effort isometrics on it. So I'm trying to lift that kettlebell up. And what this does is it contracts more muscle fibers, it contracts more motor units. So it basically gets me better at using that pattern. And then I immediately superset with a lighter weight that I can do to kind of reinstall that. So this is all about improving the strength and overloading that external rotation, but because we're doing an isometric, it's a little bit safer than doing a dynamic movement, and it's also going to get muscles firing better, which, you know, after an injury like I've had on my supraspinatus, just getting the muscle firing correctly and making sure things are strong is super important to make sure that you don't end up with some compensations after that injury. So that's the reason I'm doing this exercise. Maybe it's slightly complicated for some of you, but it definitely can be powerful and can be applied to pretty much anything. Then finishing up basically with some bodybuilding stuff. As I said, like building some sort of aesthetic, some mass gain is a focus for me at the moment. I have gained 1.5 kilos of muscle mass over the past 2 months, and I'm quite happy with it. I feel stronger, I feel better with some more muscle mass. So adding things like these bicep curls at the end has actually helped improve my chin-up strength. And adding things like this overhead tricep extension has improved my strength in the overhead press and the handstand push-up. And it's something that I have missed out on, I think, in my training over the past sort of year. It's something I haven't valued as much as I should have, but as much as it's like that pretty kind of exercises to build some aesthetics, they do have some function, especially when it comes to, you know, targeting weak points. If you've got weak triceps that's affecting your handstand push-up, then do some tricep isolation work, because it will help in the long run. As long as you're doing the main compound movements as your main bulk of your training, adding in this isolation stuff is only going to make that better. First thing I did was just to balance out the shoulders, because I'm doing so much handstand work at the moment. It's a lot of elevation, it's a lot of overhead work. You need to balance out by doing some depression work, which for me is just a ring support hold and just holding this position for time, going for 45 to 60-second holds. You get a nice pump in the chest, but also, as I said, just great for balancing out those shoulders. But that is the workout. I hope you enjoyed it. It's all in the description. And back to the vlog. Session done. Pretty solid session. As always, guys, the full workout is in the description down below. Handstands are back. We're feeling strong. I'm sure I can't share all of it with you. As I said, the program is not designed by me. It's designed by Ulrich, so it's his property. Also sipping on that mass gainer post-workout shake that I said about in the previous vlog, and I finally turned it into a vlog recipe. If you want to check that out, again, description down below, along with everything else. I'm now going to do some work here at the club, and I'll catch you guys in a bit. Oh. So we are back, we are done. As I said, everything is in the description down below. It feels good to be back. This is kind of the first kind of proper one-arm session. I had one a few days ago that actually felt really, really good, and I felt super on it today. Felt a little bit out, maybe a little bit fatigued or something. It's such a skill that requires so much coordination and focus that if you're a little bit out, it makes a huge difference to that training session. But I'm so excited for the grind. I will try to share as much as I can with you, as many tips as I can. Hopefully in this video, I haven't yet made it, but there was something decent that you could take away and apply to your own training. That being said, if you do have any questions about today's video, why not leave a comment down below. You can also suggest any future topics for these vlogs and things you would like to see and things you'd like me to share, because I'm an open book. I'm happy to share whatever you want me to chat about to a certain extent anyway. If you just enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button to support the channel. You can also support the channel by grabbing yourself either some Bodyweight Warrior merch or some resistance bands, something to help your training out. Or why not just stick around, join the Bodyweight Warrior tribe and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of these bodyweight basic vlogs. But that has been it for this week, guys. I'll catch you in the next episode. Have a strong week and peace.